Hello everyone and welcome to my first league race of F1 22. Well, kind of first league race. What this is the PSGL Invitational Pre-Season event. And what that is inviting a lot of the top talent on the Formula 1 game to do a pre-season invitational just to test out the game and get a bit of a feeler before the full season goes ahead. You know, iron out any possible bugs, glitches, anything that can disrupt race 1 of the season. So, like I say, we have a lot of top F1 esports drivers here taking part, so the grid is absolutely stacked. I will be doing the full season in PSGL as well, and I have to say, the grid is basically F1 esports.
Safe.
We have all top drivers there, and it is absolutely phenomenal. And you can see Q1, we went through relatively easy. Q2, you can see 6-7 seconds up on my delta. That's because I backed out of the lap previously. And coming across, you can see Mr. Quaddy, also known as Barry Bowman. I just changed his nickname in Steam because he's a good guy, he's a close friend, and I like to call him Mr. Quaddy because the guy is rapid. The guy is insanely quick. But you can see currently P9 on the standings, 13 seconds up, so the previous lap time is not representative, of course. Coming out of the final corner, open up the steering wheel, pick the line of least distance, and do fastest, but then dropping down to P3 later in the session. So you've got 1 minute left in the session, so this is going to be our final lap in Q2. And I'm going to be taking you for an on-board hot lap guide of Silverstone on the F1 22 game here. So come across the start-finish line, turn 1, pick the line of least resistance, throw it in, take the inside curve, and then through turn 2, it's just a corner position. The braking zone, brake as soon as that curve starts left-hand side, down to 4th gear. Do not hit the saucer curve on the inside. Bring the car back over to the middle of the track. Now keep it in 4th gear, swing it in, get the car super straight for the exit. Use up the exit curve. Short shift to 5th if you need to. I didn't need to that time. Open up DRS, flat out for the left-hander. Coming down to Brooklands, bring the car over to the right-hand side, brake on the curb, brake at the 50-meter board, down to 5th gear. Make sure you get the car square for the apex on the inside. Bring the car back over to the middle of the track, down to 4th gear. Short shift to 5th, make sure you get the car straight on the exit. You use up all the road available. Copse Corner is not flat out on this game just yet anyway. So, in 8th gear, just a lift, hit the curb and commit back to the throttle. You can see only just keeping it in. Track limits, Max and Beckett's famous section, flat out again. 1 downshift down to 7, use up the curb on the inside, downshift to 6, use up the curb on the inside again, but don't hit the red sausage curb. Do not go on the grass on this game, it will cost you time. You can see going purple in the middle sector. Coming down to Stowe, bring the car straight for the braking zones, fling it in, 6th gear, make sure you get the car square for the exit. Super critical in this game to get the exit as straight as possible. Up to 7th gear, coming up to the final sequence of corners, down to 4th gear. Do not hit the sausage curb on the inside on either of these apexes. Short shift to 5th, bring the car straight for the traction, and that is the run up to the line. And you can see that does put us top of Q2 on a 7.0. And now our first run in Q3. Halfway through that, going through Max and Beckett. As you can see, not hitting our apexes perfectly through here. We are all on preset setups for this race, and the preset setups are very understeery and hard to hit the apexes in qualifying.
Oh no, the screen freeze!
As you can see, first run, I was actually on a very good lap, only a tenth down in what I did in Q2, and unfortunately I got a screen freeze, but nevertheless, we are starting our final lap in Q3, and this is absolutely critical. You see P10 on the leaderboard. We've got about 4 or 5 tenths from that one squeeze freeze alone in the bank, so we have to use that and absolutely demolish the rest of the lap. See, for the first set to hit the apex very nicely, but we got a little bit of wheel spin between the 2 apexes. We overheated the rear tyres and compromised me for a turn-in of the left-hander, but you can see still half a tenth up, so it's been a very good first sector. Coming down into Brooklyn, super critical to brake late here, but you can see we turn in a fraction too early and picked up the curb on the inside a little bit too early as well. Now coming through Lovefield, we gain a bit more time back. You can see the apex was sweet, the exit was sweet as well. We see almost a tenth up, but now coming up to Copse Corner, we need to be fully committed into this apex. Keep it in 7th gear, but you can see we get a little bit too greedy on the throttle, running wide. Oh, well. And that is going to be costing us about a tenth and a half to 2 tenths in that one corner alone. Through the right-hander, through the left-hander. You can see we're hitting these apexes phenomenally through here, picking up a bit more time through these corners as well. You can see at 3.1, we should have realistically been in the 2s in the middle sector there. But oh well, it's my mistake. I own it. And we have to move on forward and absolutely nail the rest of this final sector. You see, through Stowe was pretty sweet for there. The rear was dancing on the exit. Now come up to the final sequence of turns, hit the apex beautifully there. And you can see getting a little bit of snap over stick, but actually helped the rotation to up to the start-finish line. As you can see, that did put us P9 on the grid. You can see coming onto the formation lap. The reason
I predict a massive crash.
You can see I'm predicting a massive crash already.
Fundamentally huge.
But I'm skipping through because I want to keep this video short, sweet, and spicy for you.
Hey, look, I'm getting further away from my grid slot.
As you can see, just having a bit
the
of
game
fun
is
with
like,
the game.
what are you doing? Come back here.
So this is what you get if you tune into the live stream. You just get to see me trolling. But I want to keep these videos nice, short, sweet, snappy for you.
Oh, no, I forgot about it. And oh, my God. I almost forgot about it. I almost forgot about line up on the grid.
Almost forgetting how to do the grid up formation on this game. But I want to keep these videos super action-packed for you, not spending the time in loading screens. So,
legendary.
Zeke starts on the hard compound tyres. Marcel,
oh my God, that sounds awful,
is on soft behind us. But we do have an audio bug. And you can see, coming off the line, I have basically
oh my
no
God,
audio.
my game audio is so bad.
And
what is this?
That meant I had no confidence to get on the power, so I didn't know if the
I can't hear anything.
And that caused us to have a bad start. You can see trying to go around the outside of Daniel Bresnay, but we're pinched in between cars here, so we decide to back off, play it safe. As you can see, just trying to keep it as safe as possible right now. Jack West goes flying around the outside, and you see we actually get hit by Fleet from behind. And Fleet actually loses a bit of time from that. Then Timon tries to go up the inside, but backs out of it. So now, we started P9. You can see trying to reset the audio on the straight, but nothing's working.
Game, come on.
And you can hear
I think I have wing damage as well.
And I did think I had wing damage, but I don't think I do looking back at it. Because I don't think I hit anyone hard enough with the wing to cause wing damage. You see, everyone's getting a bit spicy up ahead, coming down to Copse Corner for the first lap in the race. You can see, I'm trying to stay close, but I'm not trying to make moves right now. I just want to conserve the front where you can see everyone's following super close.
Time to deal with it.
Daniel Bresnay is going side by side with a car up into Magnus Beckett's, but it isn't going to work out, so he backs out. You can see following Flores Fires so closely through Magnus Beckett, and you can see right up behind him. And there's an opportunity to overtake here. I use a bit of battery on the straight, but I realise everyone else is spamming their battery down the straight, so I'm better off to save it.
Look at this.
Laughing because it's absolute carnage down this straight. You see Jack West trying to go around outside of Daniel Brace. You see getting a snap of oversteer. You see Fleet behind us on the medium compound tyres. He dives down the inside. You can see, I see his arrow last minute, and he goes straight into the side of Flores. And you can see that's going to give him front wing damage. Now Carter is going around the outside of me. I get a snap of oversteer.
Oh my God, get off
contact. And we thankfully survived that. Carter didn't do anything wrong. I just got a snap of oversteer, and I was saying get off me because I didn't know how the desync worked in this game yet. But you can see up the inside, Flores Bias is diving it and absolutely punts Jack. You see, I had to mute myself because I had said a very nice word. But you can see that's free position for us, even if it cost us a bit of time. So what I did now was I spent a few laps tyre saving up behind Jack, saving a bit of battery as well. And now I'm going to be deploying that battery and that tyre saving to try and make some positions up as this thing goes on. You can see we're about 4 seconds away from the next, the lead hard runner, and you see about 5 seconds away from Bari. He's on a different strategy as we go up the inside of Jack. Jack didn't really defend that, to be fair. He more let us go. So yeah, about 4 seconds away from the next, from the leader on my strategy, and 5 seconds away from Bari on the medium compound tyre. You see Daniel Prost, they go to the inside, go defensive, and we pinch him to the inside. You see he actually backs out of it at the last moment as well, giving us the position. And you can see next up is Josh, but then we have 3 seconds to Frederick Rasmussen up ahead. So the gap is huge. With only 16 laps to go as well, 3 seconds is a huge task to close down. You can see in the slipstream of Josh, and Josh decides to work with me. You see he lifts off and plays it smart. And now we're going to work together with the slipstream and DRS to try and catch up. You see lap 13, I've taken 8/10 of a second out of Frederick Rasmussen up ahead. We have been putting in some sensational laps to close the gap. You can see we decide to go for the undercut, throw it into the pit lane, and we are only just getting it slowed down, 3 kilometers an hour. But of course, part of the new game feature is making sure you maximize.
It's on auto, man. Please don't change the wing.
Yeah, I was nervous about the wing changing.
If you change the wing, I'm going to cry.
The pit lane thing with this immersion. You can see, I do press the button.
I hate this new system.
And you can see I'm a little bit salty.
I pressed it on the time, man.
Because with this system, it feels like you have to press it early. you don't actually press it on the dot. If you press it on the dot, then it's late. So you have to press it like 4 attempts before. So I was just a bit mad and salty about that. But I did skip out the rest of the pit lane because, like I say, I want to keep this video short, sweet, and snappy for you. And watching a car trundle down the pit lane in Silverstone is not the most exciting thing. But on the outlap, we gained a second to Bari. These hard tyres are notoriously difficult to warm up on these games. So he was doing a fantastic outlap, but with the mediums it was a huge advantage. But you can see, I was so confused because Daniel Bresnay overcut us. And now you can see right up behind Bresnay.
Why is he so slow for?
And you can see me saying, why is he so slow for? Because I haven't followed another real-life driver with cold tyres on this game yet. So I was ultra confused to exactly what was going on. So that's why I was saying why he's so slow for. Because at first I was thinking it was something like desync. Because that was, on the previous games, that was the only reason for a car to go that slowly. But it is in fact just the tyres needing to warm up. But excitingly, we have closed into the DRS zone of Alvaro Carreton. But we had a big problem this race. We underfueled a bit too much. So with only 2 or 3 laps to go, we had minus 0.30 laps of fuel. So you can see, we're lifting, coasting massively. So we was able to have phenomenal pace to catch up, get back in the DRS, so get back in the fight for the win possibly. But then, unfortunately, I underfueled a bit too much at the start of the race. I took a bit too much of a gamble. But that's my mistake, I own it, and we need to fix it going forward. But this is what the preseason race is for, learning these little nuances of the game. You can see huge lifting coast going into the first sequence of corners. And you can see my only ambition here is to try and keep DRS on Alvaro Carreton, and I can try and defend from Daniel Bresnay. He has a 5-second penalty anyway, but we all like to beat drivers on track, don't we? So, coming down to the end of the straight, you can see another lifting coast, half a second ahead. And my only real hope right now was if the leaders had an incident, if Frederick tried to send it on Bari or Varro tried to send it on Frederick. You can see Frederick was flashing on his battery as well earlier in the lap. He will be flashing on his battery later as well, so he's quite low on battery. I think Alvaro had quite a lot of battery stored up. But on this game, it's actually harder to follow in the slipstream and the dirty air and to make overtakes in fact. So it's, in my opinion, better. It's going to make for more difficult racing, whereas every other game before was too easy to overtake, and now it's going to be much more difficult. So I really look forward to that challenge. You see, on the straight, you've got half a second just about to Daniel Bresnay, and I'm going to do my biggest lifting coast yet, going into Stowe. You can see, I don't care what the gap is to the leaders right now. They're going to finish ahead of me anyway. Now coming into the final scene, you can see we go to the inside and do a big lifting coast again, just to make sure you see Carreton flashing well. So we used up all his battery all over the back of Frederick. You can see we're just parking the car on the inside, and coming out the final corner, we do actually run out of fuel. But
Woo!
you can see,
let's go.
I'm very happy with that result. Down in
Let's
P12
go, man.
on lap 1.
What are we, like P13, lap 1?
Seconds behind the race leader, and fighting back to only be 2 seconds behind while saving fuel. I'm very happy with that. But Barbie won. Huge congratulations. Frederick P2, Alvaro P3. But anyway, I'm going to leave it here with you guys and girls. Have an amazing day, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao, ciao.